We're back. It's the Top 6 show. It's Thursday afternoon. Man City out of the Champions League. The title race heats up this weekend with Spurs going all the way to the mighty Anfield. Chelsea's takeover is almost complete as well. What a panel we have for you right here. Another edition will be joining us very soon. But I've got Colleen here. Louis back again with the Gibby Sport jumper on. Patrick been in hiding with Batman.
I tell you gotta stop saying that because people actually thought it was true. Like I was going back and forth with someone the other day.
Oh no, I'm looking after my children. No, all these excuses. Oh, what a good no. Listen, that's what it is.
Bank holiday weekend.
Yeah, and all that. No, I get you, mate. If Arsenal would have lost, you'd have been on there, bro. Like, I know you. Man, like have hopes here as well. How you doing, brother?
I'm alive, man. I'm breathing and alive, man. You know, I'm alive.
Yeah, breathing a little bit more than Chelsea right now, which we will get to later on the show. But last night was epic. Obviously, we had a massive match reaction show. I want to say thank you to everybody. Just under 80,000 views on last night's match reaction was astounding. So thank you to everybody that watched that. Please hit the like button for this show right now as well. We are asking a big question on today's show as to whether or not Pep Guardiola's time at Man City will be looked at as a failure if he doesn't win the Champions League. That's the overarching question. But I do want to touch on last night because none of you currently on here were on last night's match reactions. That's a good new sort of group of people to speak to. What are we saying about last night? Was it Man City bottling the situation, or was it more of a case of Real Madrid just showing their class?
I think
a bit of both. Bit of both, man.
Both.
Yeah, both. Go on, have hope. Go first.
Okay, cool. No, look, I mean, it's like, first of all, yes, it's City bottling because at 1-0, when Mahrez scored, like, you're like, boom, settle it out, play it out, keep hold of the ball, keep it going and everything. So you'd think that, yeah, like, so 72nd minute, when you're 1-0 up after dominating for so long, you should be able to see it out. But then I remember what Lean said before, because she was like, that's je ne sais quoi. And it's that je ne sais quoi and that football heritage. Because like,
I'm glad you remembered.
No, I know it's existed, but not to this extent. So I thought, okay, maybe they'll equalize, but the fact that they came back that's why it's a combination of like, City, you messed up, but man, that's Real Madrid DNA is different because Rodrigo, the guy's like 2 years old, but like the guy's like 2-3 years old. He comes on and it's like, no. This is Real Madrid. Like that shirts, you see, different jerseys, they weigh different and so forth. Like if you wear like a Scunthorpe jersey, like it's what you're going to do with a Scunthorpe jersey. But when you're that Real Madrid jersey, you go up 6 levels. And Rodrigo's like, no. We're going to come back. So, but look, man, we have to get onto Pep. Like this exposure season, we have to expose this dude, man, because you can't have 3.5 trillion of oil money, spend money upon money, and you can't do it. Because remember, Pep, people say, okay, look, it's the players that messed up, they didn't put the chances away. In extra time, they didn't have a striker on. you didn't have a striker. And you've had several summers to get a striker, to get a finisher. But Pep wants everything to be about him. Pep is like, no, it's all about the system. It's my way or the highway. And he leaves nothing for individuals to really express themselves and get you out of a situation. So you're now going into extra time with no De Bruyne, no Mahrez, and having to rely on this whole team thing for you guys to say what's up. So yeah, I mean, for City, like, yeah, I mean, it's 6 years, man. 6 years, the amounts of money you've spent, and all you have to show for it is one UCL final, which is why the bottom line is that Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta, they gave Pep life. They gave him life.
Look, we know how good a manager is. I want to ask you, Louis, and I don't mean this with any disrespect to Patrick, Colleen, or Igal, but your club haven't won Champions Leagues, and I want to ask someone who has, in terms of heritage and legacy in the English game. Is it a big thing that Pep hasn't won it yet? With the money that he spent and how good his team is domestically, is it something that will make his tenure a failure if he doesn't achieve it?
So it depends the way you look at it. I don't think you can say his time. You can't say his time at City has been a failure because he's dominated England. He's created one of the best English teams we've ever seen. But the way I think about it is, if we were in that room when he met with Sheikh Mansour before he took the job, likely he would have said, listen, win leagues in England, yeah, but we're doing that already. We want to dominate Europe. So in that sense, he has failed at his main objective thus far. So his time at City hasn't been a failure, because with the amount he's won, the points he's accumulated, the football he's played, I just don't think you can say it has been a failure. But he has failed at his main objective, and it's something that for me, I will always sit there and I'll be biased in this, and I'll always put Klopp over Pep, because it's my right. I've got to. And it is one thing that is very easy for us rival fans to kind of beat over their heads, be like, Klopp's done it and you haven't. But yeah, no, I kind of feel differently about the game. Like, for me, City bottled it in the first leg, not the second leg. Like, City played nigh on a perfect game in the second leg. They were pretty much perfect until literally the 90th minute. But in that first leg, they should have been 3 goals up, 4 goals up. And it's that difference where going into one goal away at the Bernabeu is difficult, and it's difficult for any team. That's why I would have been disappointed last week being a City fan, especially with what we know now. So listen, I think it's harsh to say that Pep bottled it, because I don't know. On the night, you can talk about recruitment and you can talk about needing a striker, but on the night, I don't know what he would have done differently. People have said take De Bruyne, like, you shouldn't have taken De Bruyne off, but he wasn't playing well anyway. Like, people are also saying he wasn't playing well. So on the night, I don't know what Pep could have done differently. I just think sometimes it is about experience. It is about being in those situations. It is about the shirt that you have on. And regardless of what they say, it is Liverpool. That is what Liverpool have over Man City at the moment. We've got the history of the club. We've got the heritage. Man City just don't. And I do think that it's kind of the intangibles that sometimes when we think about football, we don't really consider.
Cole, Pat, what are you saying about this? In terms of the game, we'll move on to Pep's time at the club later.
Yeah.
In terms of the game in itself, I mean, people are saying there's nothing Pep did wrong last night. But is there an argument to say, but he's been here 6 years, by now he should have instilled a mentality that stops them from throwing these opportunities away? Because every single Champions League campaign feels like it ends in the same way, with them losing games nobody expects them to consistently.
Yeah. I think he did do quite a bit wrong, to be fair, because Louis said he bottled the first leg and not the second. I think he bottled both, if you're being honest. They only went into the game with a 1-goal lead, which was criminal considering how well they played in the first game. And then, like HH has said, they're 1-0 up with 15 minutes to go. They get a crucial away goal. I know we don't do the whole away goal thing anymore, but you go to the Bernabeu, you completely shut up the crowd. All you had to do is see the game out. So Pep should have saw that game out. He didn't. And then, yeah, the Real Madrid are just Real Madrid, and they got 2 goals, took the game to extra time. Sorry, they got 1 goal, didn't they? Took it to extra time and then got it's 2. They beat them 3-1 on the night, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
I
I agree with what you're saying about Pep needing to like shut up shop after 15 minutes to see the game out. But what did he like? He brought on Fernandinho, which would kind of go to that. He brought on. I know Walker was injured, but once they kind of he took him off, put on Zinchenko. So, like, what would you have done if you were Pep that would have seen that game out?
I mean, but Louis, it's what Patrick is saying, because Patrick is alluding to, as a manager, you have to have that plan A, plan B. So where Patrick is going to is, okay, we're now up 1-0. In training, we know that defensive setup.
100%.
So we now know how to shut up shop. So what Patrick is going to is that Pep is all about plan A, plan A, plan A.
Yeah.
If plan A doesn't work, help. Because his whole thing is that if we fail, it's because we didn't execute plan A. But you have to have, you have your plan A, but your plan B is okay, men behind the ball, defense, and so forth. When you look at, because again, let's talk about Edison. You sent Joe Hart to Siberia because you're like, no, I want to have guys who are good with their feet. Edison, he's amazing with his feet, but this guy is a brick keeper. When last did Edison make a save? He probably made a save back in the freaking 1700s. Because, bro, let's be real. That goal that Rodriguez scored, that was on Edison. Courtois Courtois may be like a freaking scarecrow, like footwork wise, but he's a keeper. He's a keeper, and he makes critical saves. Like, guys, when last did Edison make a critical save? So that's on Pep for saying, no, I will value how good you are with distribution than actually being a proper keeper. And Edison was at fault for that Rodrigo first goal.
I agree. And I just say, sorry, I would just say, like, I get what you're saying with he needs the plan B. But if that plan B was to shut up shop, they didn't have a shot on target till the 90th minute. So on the whole, their plan worked, barring the last 5 minutes. And I know it's
the last 5 minutes is still part of the game. It's still part of the game. Come on, Louis. Come on, it's still part of the game.
All I'm saying is, everyone's saying that Pepper's bottled it and kind of all this stuff. And I get what you're saying. And listen, I've said it because it's funny to say, but I haven't seen anyone come up with something, a substitution, a tactical switch that would have prevented those goals or would have.
But I don't think it's about. It's not always tactical. Sorry, I'm going to go to Miguel in a minute. It isn't always tactical. This is the point. It was about This wasn't about how good you were at football. This was about mentality, and they conceded that goal at the end. That wasn't the end of the world because they had a 2-goal lead still. All they had to do was be assertive, play their game. They didn't. They become compact and they shrunk. They're like a shrinking sphincter. They just, like when people get scared, the arsehole closes up. That's what they did. They shrunk. They did this. And they went within themselves and they allowed, not just to the end of the 90 minutes, but then in the first 5 minutes of the extra time, they allowed this Real Madrid team who had, barring moments at the Etihad, in the whole game in Spain, were barely knocking on their door. Yes, they had some runs from Vinny, but every time he got into the box, he touched, let him down, or a tackle was made. They weren't in any real trouble. No shots on target until that first goal in nearly 90 minutes. They bottled it mentally. And I've been speaking, they've got a better manager, better first 11, better squad. And they were done through mentality 2 games running. And for me, where I blame Pep is that in 6 years, you've got to fix that. Within 6 years. And he didn't take over a broken club. He didn't take over a team that were in the pits. He took over a team that was recently champions a year or so earlier, that had already had over £1 billion spent on its squad with world-class players like David Silva, Yaya Toure, Sergio Aguero, Vincent Kompany. He didn't take over a Roy Hodgson-level Liverpool. He didn't take over like Arsenal after 15 years of not winning anything. He didn't take over Man United now in the situation we're in where we hate nearly every single player at our club, there's holes in the stadium. He took over a brilliant club being run well in a very good situation. Within 6 years, if you can't instill your team to see these games, this guy's been beaten by a Monaco full of kids. Yes, some very talented kids, Bernardo Silva, Fabinho, Mbappe, but beaten by kids. This guy got knocked out by Lyon. Like
we knocked them out as well. Tottenham knocked them out over 2 legs without Harry Kane.
Son, put some respect on Son's name. Put some respect on Son's name.
Yeah,
for me,
Son is sick, but
domestically, what City have done is impeccable. But you have to look at these things. Gal, sorry, you were going to say something, mate.
I honestly, this might be the boring answer, but I'm going to tell you guys this. The players bottled the first game. The players bottled the second game. But overall, this whole time period at Man City, it's on the manager. That is the answer. And when it comes down to it, Pep Guardiola has bottled it season in, season out. And the reason being, the level of quality. Terry, I completely disagree with you. This Real Madrid squad is not as bad as people make it seem. When it comes to depth,
they're old. No, they're quality, but they're old.
They have
as good as Man City.
And when it comes to mentality, you're spot on. They have the mentality where they did not switch off into the final minute. Pep Guardiola, he could have made changes, bro. Let's not lie. He forced Kyle Walker back early. He cost him Kyle Walker. Now he's gone for the next.
He was their man of the match.
He's gone for 2 to 4 weeks now. It could cost.
But Egal, it was worth the risk. Kyle Walker had to play. It was worth the risk.
Also, he was their man of the match.
Also, when it comes to the first leg, you've seen that you had the advantage going into this leg. You could have set up a way where once you got that goal, you shut up shop. He tried to shut up shop, but he didn't actually bring on a defender. He took away attackers, brought on midfielders. Yes, it worked slightly, what I personally believe, once they got a goal down, they became very negative, and they just tried to hold on to that final thing instead of playing the way they should usually play. They actually went away from their tactics, and it showed that they were more scared of the moment. Real Madrid, they were ready for that moment, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I never believed in this whole football heritage stuff. But as it shows, if your team, I never believed in it until
Why?
recently.
What? Sorry, we
Until
can't
recently.
touch over that. Why? Why don't you
The
believe?
reason why I didn't believe in it is because I honestly did think if a team has been there before as like players, then you should believe it. But as a club, I didn't believe that. But now I kind of have to start to believe it.
How can you not
kinda
believe
have-
it? You
Wait,
look how many championships Real Madrid have won.
Guys,
It
I've
speaks
seen the
for
light.
itself.
There's no need to criticize. Calm down.
No,
No, but
it's trying to
before-
understand. No, I was trying to
Yeah.
understand why you didn't believe. Like you understand. By the way, this Real Madrid team has also been there and done it as well. But it's about people at your club understanding. So football clubs have people there behind the scenes of the legends that have been there, done it, worn the t-shirt. They have words in your ear. They keep the mood down. The fans play a part. Real Madrid fans are far more relaxed in those situations than fans of clubs that have never been there. I said about Spurs. So, too many Spurs fans in the build-up to that Champions League final had the attitude of, we're just happy to be here. That sends a message into the dressing room that it's okay to lose. That for me is the heritage part, and the fans are a huge piece of that.
Real
Colleen,
Madrid fans left the game though. So a
yeah,
large portion of the fans.
some did. Listen, some Man United fans did that in 1999, including George Best. He left the ground and whatever else. But what's your take on this, Cole?
I mean, I think there's several components that play a part in this. I mean, I kind of disagree with Gal a little bit, where I do think that City did bottle it in the first leg, because you can't expect to go to the Bernabeu and keep a clean sheet. Like, I know hindsight's 2020, but in how the game pans out before they got their first goal, but you seriously can't expect to go there and think, okay, we're not gonna concede a goal. Like, you just can't expect that to be the case. And then the game played out the way it did. And I really believe in this football heritage situation, because Ancelotti even came out and said, even when we were 0-0 and it was like the 85th minute, I still believe we were going to come back. What right does he have to believe that that's a group of players who are overall, especially in the panic of the season, are probably inferior to City's player? What right does he have that? It's because they're Real Madrid. They've been there. They've done it. What right did they have to score 3 goals at the Etihad? Zero. They shouldn't have. It shouldn't have happened.
Zero. I like that. It's a good
Zero.
Zero.
They look like 6 goals. Do you know what I mean? And this is where I disagree with Gal with that where you said they kind of shrunk after the first goal. I actually believe they should have done what Mourinho said that I actually done when they lost to Tottenham in the semi-final. They needed to abandon their beliefs for the cause, the end goal. Pep Guardiola needs to abandon his belief. As soon as that goal went in from Real Madrid, in my opinion, they should have gone. They needed to go 5 at the back. They needed to be completely compact and solid. But a part of that comes from a lack of mentality, because City have never been in this situation in the league. When are they in the last 6 years? When have City been in that situation where they're like, they have to win, and in terms of if they concede a goal, that's it, they're out. They've never been in that situation. So he's never even coached that mentality into them, or even had the players in that kind of mind frame of, okay, if we're 2-0 down and we actually have to get 1 goal across the whole 6 years I'm talking about, not just that night, that situation's never happened. And it's never happened in the history of the club, really. That's where that mentality comes into it. In contrast, you have Ancelotti saying in the 85th minute, when he did his interview afterwards, being like, well, no, I believe we were still going to do it. And when you watch the game, before they scored, no one thought it was going to happen. Everyone thought was booking their flights to Paris. And that's the key difference. So I honestly think Pep has failed. He's done so great in the English league. There's no doubt about that. Probably one of the best that the Premier League's ever seen. But like Louis said, when he came into that job, the object was not to win just the Prem. We're talking Liverpool and Man City are on different standard. They're talking about winning trebles, doubles, quadruples. And a big part of that is the Champions League. And Pep's record in big European nights post-Barcelona, in terms of throwing away leads within 20 minutes, is astounding. I think it's over 6.
Let me just say very quickly as well on Pep Guardiola, and is he a failure at City? Domestically, no. But overall, I'm going to say this, yes. And the reason I want to say it is this, because City are spending the money to create one of the greatest teams of all time. And I was doing some research today, and I was thinking about Liverpool's team from 1983 to 1984 as an example. They won European Cups. Bayern Munich from 1973 to 1979 won 3 European Cups back to back. Benfica 1960 to 1962, 2 Champions Leagues. Inter Milan from 1960 to 1968, another great side in the history of our game, 2 Champions Leagues. Hamburg had one of the best teams in the world from 1978 to 1983. They won a European Cup. Ajax, Total Football, we've all heard of that. 1970 to 1973, 3 Champions League titles on the bounce. AC Milan, 1988 to 1994, 2 Champions Leagues. Real Madrid from the mid-1950s to the early 60s, 5 Champions Leagues won in that time period. Man United between 1998 and 2001, they won a Champions League, back-to-back, the three-peat in the league. 2007 to 2009, Man United, a three-peat in the league, won a Champions League, and we're actually in 2 Champions League finals. All the greatest teams throughout the history of European football, and there's more teams that you could add into that as well. All the teams, if you go onto any website and list the greatest football teams of all time, all of them, every single one of them, have European success to their name. And what I'm not prepared to, and this is not a discredit to Man City, and someone says, give City time. City have got all the time in the world to do this. Pep hasn't. Pep's time is judged by what he does. And for me, I don't think it's disrespectful to say you shouldn't dine on the table with these great Bayern Munich, Benfica, Hamburg, Liverpool, Inter, Real Madrid, Man United, AC Milan teams, Ajax teams. You shouldn't be allowed to dine on their table until you've won that European Cup. I think it is so. It's like saying, "Oh, you're one of the greatest actors in the world. Never won an Oscar." You can't be. You've got to win the Oscar. You've got to. There's something you've got to achieve. Something you've got to be awarded. Something you've got to. There's got to be an end result. You can't be a more successful Olympian than Usain Bolt until you win more Olympic golds than him. I broke his world record. Yeah, but we're not talking about that. Are you a better Olympian? No. You can't be a better European side than teams that have won the goddamn European trophy. And I'm sorry to say it to City fans. I know they're going to hate it. But unless Pep wins it, and he still can, his time at your club is a failure, because his job is to make you one of the greatest teams of all time. And you can't be until you win it for me. You just simply can't. You can't.
Oh, no, and I think just even add to that, because like when you've spent, because again, let's not take away, like his success is a success. And like, as Louis said, we can't ignore the 100 points, 98 points, consecutive wins record, goals record. So those are successes, but we also cannot ignore how much you've spent, how much money you've pumped in. So the amount of money you've pumped in, you sort of expect you to actually do pretty well league-wise, because you can pretty much field 2 teams based on how much money you spent. So at the very least, what do you do in the Champions League? And the reason why I love the Champions League is that the Champions League truly exposes you. Because let's keep it real. When you're a young player, you have 2 dreams: to win the World Cup and to win the Champions League. Yeah, a league is cool. A football association cup is cool. But your dream is really that Champions League, and it's really that World Cup. And so when you're facing those guys in the Champions League, they're going to try harder than the freaking Karabuki Cup. So you can get all your Karabuki Cups and so forth, and you can break the record. Like, you can laugh at everything, but it's true. Like, yeah, cool. You have like 3 Karabuki Cups. But the Champions League, that's what separates the truly elite dudes from the pretty good dudes. And again, we have to say that one UCL final without Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta, you took over a Bayern Munich side that's won the treble. You never reached the UCL final once. You've had the pickings of any player you've wanted in 6 years, 1 UCL final.
I think it's harsh to just be like everything that happened in this tie was on Pep, but at the same time, everything that's happened at his time at Man City is on him. So I'll give him credit for bottling everything overall over the last couple of years. But yesterday alone, over the last 2 legs, we got to give a lot of credit. We got to give it a lot to the players.
I get that, Gal. I want to ask you a question. Sorry, I want to ask Gal and Colleen a question here. Is not winning the Champions League a failure?
Yes, for Pep.
Generally, or for Pep?
I think if you're at a club for 6+ years, you're one of the best.
He knows what he's doing with this.
You're one of the best teams in your league, one of the best teams in terms of playing football in Europe. If you fail to win the Champions League, is that a failure?
Be careful.
Yes, it is based on your expectations as a club.
Yeah. Why are you guys thinking about it? I think it's quite straightforward. It's a straightforward question from Terry. He's not really trying to trip anyone up. But you would like to say when Pep came into Man City don't have any European heritage. Pep's job was to bring them that. He is a Champions League winner. He's done it before. He's assembled massive squads and done it. So he was definitely the right man. And so far it is a failure. Yeah. In terms of European pedigree and what he's done there, it is a failure. Of course, domestically, he's insane and he's done everything you'd like to see from a coach at a domestic level. But if you're looking at the European level, yeah, definitely it's a failure.
It's a difficult one, right? Because the Pep thing is almost similar to the Steven Gerrard kind of debate. And I get it in the sense that if people are like, oh, Pep can't, like this Man City team can't be considered one of the best ever because like they haven't won the European Cup. It's very similar to the Gerrard thing where like, can he be considered one of the best Premier League midfielders ever if he's not won the Premier League? It's something that I've got to be consistent with. And if I say the same thing about City, I've got to say it about Gerrard. But also, if I say that about Gerrard, I've got to say it about.
You're talking about an individual within a team and not the team in itself.
No, of course. Simplistically, though,
Gerrard's teams were failures because some of them were good enough to win leagues and they didn't do it. That doesn't mean Gerrard himself is a bad football player.
Of course. But I mean,
compare an individual versus this Man City team, by the way. It's not like they're on shoestring budget. It's not like they don't have one of the best squads in the world. It isn't like they've not got the guy that everybody said is the best coach in the world.
Yeah, like it's apples and oranges, man. Yeah.
But I mean, if you're, and I know football isn't simplistic, but to play it out simplistic, I think it's very difficult, and it's a nuanced conversation where, for me, like if I'm, I don't know, in 20 years' time telling someone about football and I'm describing the best teams of the kind of mid 2010s to 2020, like to where we are now, I'll talk about City because they are like in terms of player for player, in terms of what they've won domestically, they are right up there. But
let me ask you a question. Are there any teams in any other sport?
Yeah.
Basketball, the NFL, or individuals, tennis players, golfers, are there any that are considered like one of the greatest of all time that haven't won the biggest trophy or the biggest gold medal is anyone else ever done that? So can you be the best tennis player ever without winning the Grand Slams? Can you be the best? I don't know what they call it in basketball, but can you be the greatest NFL franchise of all time if you've not won the Super Bowl?
Oh no! But basically, I'll give you an NBA example. Most people would say like their favorite player is this guy called Allen Iverson, and he never won a championship with the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah. So people just say that, look, bro, Allen Iverson is one of my favorite like basketball players, but he can't sit and dine at the same table as a LeBron, as a Kobe, as a Jordan, because that championship, that chip is what truly defines you as, you cannot sit at that table. So we can respect you of what you are as an individual, but you can't really sit at that main table.
You're talking about players who are for the culture, players that like players that people really respect because of the way they've played and the way that they connect to those players. You can find players that are respected highly because people connect to them so much. But if you don't have the success to go with it, people will never put you at the top echelon.
Yeah, but I'm also not talking about individuals. I'm talking about the teams he played for. So I don't know anything about the NBA, barring I understand the basic rules of basketball. But you can't, as a team that's never, as a team, what is it called? What is the major trophy in NBA called?
Maybe it's the NBA Finals. The championship.
The championship. Is there a team that hasn't won that's considered one of the top 2, top 3, top 4 teams of all time?
No. Every team that's won it has.
I do have a quick question. Go on.
Pep. Surely Pep's cursed or something at this point because he hasn't won it with Bayern. He hasn't won it with Man City. He's had numerous opportunities with all those teams. And immediately after he left Bayern, they went on to go win the Champions League.
But Egaldo, on that point, he's cursed. Have you heard of the Yaya Toure African curse?
I was going to get onto that.
It's real. It's for real. Because it says, because it says you will never win a Champions League after the whole bad thing. And that cause real. But maybe let me ask you guys this whole thing. Do you think Pep's coaching approach is hindering his chance to win the Champions League? So let's look at the 2 he won. Yes, we give him that credit. There you go. Yeah. So we give him the credits for the Champions League that he won with Barcelona, but you had Messi. Messi is one of the most talented players of all time. Iniesta, top 5 midfielders of all time. Xavi, top 10. So at Bayern and Man City, you don't have those generational individuals. And when you look at these teams, it's all about Pep system. And Pep system does not allow for that individual to set himself apart. So do you think Pep's micromanagement is maybe a hindrance as to not being able to take that extra step to win the Champions League?
I don't think it's anything to do with the coaching because, domestically, I would say
I'm talking about the Champions League, not domestic Champions League.
I'm in the camp of the Premier League is harder to win than the Champions League,
Based on what?
I think doing it consistently over a 38 game. I mean, it's just my view. Doing it consistently over a 38 game season, I think, is harder than kind of knockout football. It's why you see. I just think it is harder, and it's hard. It's difficult, but I don't think it's anything to do with Pep's management. I do think it is something to do with the mentality, and I'm not sure if. I mean, we're not privy to these meetings, but you'd have to assume that when he's going in for the preseason meeting or whatever, the Champions League is a big thing. I'm not sure whether maybe there's too much pressure being put on the players, where he's almost he's in his own head, and when you try and do something so much that just. You put so much pressure on it. I think it's more mentality than it is tactics.
But Louis, I've got to disagree with you there because I hear when people say, "Oh, a league is harder because you have to play over 38 games and so forth." They are both difficult, but in different senses of the word.
Of course,
a league is difficult because consistency. Can you be consistent and maintain that concentration? A Champions League is harder because you're playing against players that have parity on the same level as you. And managers that are on the same level as you. So in that knockout football, the margin of error is nil. In a league, okay, we lost. Hey, we've got like 20-something games to go through. If you mess up, that's it. You're out.
I think that's a great point. What I will also say is this as well with Pep. I don't even know if it's about not being good. By the way, I still think he's one of the best managers of all time, by the way. This isn't about him being a bad manager. I'm talking isolating it to his time at City. Only 4 managers, one of them now being Klopp, Fergie. So people say Fergie's European success is awful for how long he was at a club. You're looking at he's 25 years at Man United, and you're not rendering in the fact that other managers' careers were as long as him. They were just at different football clubs. It's not like Fergie had a 25-year career and everyone else had a 10-year career. But only Lippi, Ancelotti. I think Ancelotti's now in 5 because of this. So he's got the record now. So Fergie, Lippi, and Fergie 4 Champions League finals each. Ancelotti now 5. So no one's even reached more than up until Ancelotti yesterday. No one had even reached. I said Klopp. No one's reached more finals than that. So the point is, when Pep's on 2 Champions League wins. By the way, only 2 managers I think have 3 Champions League title winners. Everybody else that's done really well is on 2. Pep's already on 2, but that's in and around what all the other world-class, greatest ever managers have got. So it isn't inconceivable that he goes the rest of his career without winning it because. No one's won 5, 6, 7 of the damn things. And I think because he won 2 so early, people expected, he's going to get 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. And that just hasn't happened. They're very hard. Some people wait a longer time in their careers to get to that point. Some people seem to do it earlier. Like Zidane's won 3 of them back to back, which is amazing. Would I be shocked if in 20 years' time he's not won another one? No, because history shows us that managers, and some of those great managers of those Ajax teams, Milan teams, Barca teams, they haven't all gone on to then go and win 2, 3, 4 more of them at other clubs. Otherwise, they'd have more. Do you know what I'm saying? Teams that won 3 or 4 on the bounce. They're different managers at those times as well. Like it's Pep not winning more than 2 isn't an underachievement in his career because it's in the ballpark with everybody else. But in terms of Man City, 110%. Like this geezer, he's failing there right now. And again, in terms of turning City into one of the greatest teams ever domestically, he's done an amazing job. He's up there with this team's up there with the greatest domestic Man United and Liverpool teams and Chelsea teams. And Arsenal under Wenger as well in those periods. He's done it. He's got there in different ways, shapes or form. And some say it's better because of the Centurion things. But they need that European success because that is what cements you historically in world football. Then you go on to playing Super Cups, World Club Championships and all those kind of tournaments. And that's... Unless you've been there and you've experienced your club do it, I'm just telling you, it's a different type of legacy, and City are missing out on that right now. Question: I want to throw this to. I got to Louis last on this. But I'm going to HH first. Could this mishap? Could this create Man City slipping up and throwing away the league title? Now, could City conceivably end the season with no trophies?
It's basically it's all dependent on this game. So they play Newcastle. If let's say they win, but they struggle to a win, then you might say, okay, it would have affected them, because right now it's about how has this affected them mentally, psychologically. If you're going to ask me, I would say no, because they've already been through these failures already, and they've recovered from them. But this is a different one, because I think this is probably the most painful one, because you were literally right there, and in the space of 2 minutes, you got knocked out, knowing that you had a good chance to beat Liverpool in the final. So it really is dependent on the player's psychology. But like, if let's say you just put me on the spot, I would just say no, because you've got, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just to sort of recharge yourselves. And let's be real, the last remaining games are winnable games. So I would say no. But Terry, I mean, if we're in a situation where the end of this season trophyless, I mean, that would be wild. That would be wild. But I say no. I still think that they'll get the job done domestically.
And we'll go to some more of that in a moment. Blue Moon here says, give us time. And we are, City have got all the time in the world to win these. I'm talking Pep specifically. Comment here says, Blue Diaper and Stroke Moon saying that Pep needs
who's Blue Diaper?
Blue Viper is the name of a user. This is a guy having a user. Needs more time and 2 central midfielders. Just can't say they were bad and made mistakes. They want to come here and trash Tuchel, who have had 18 months. City fans are trash. If only Pep had back five Holdini. Holdini. Sorry, Holding. Yeah, there we go. Real Madrid has a better squad. Modric and Benz are better players, is what KC's got to say.
Huh?
I don't know.
No, that's cap. That's
squad,
cap.
no.
I was asking my brother yesterday. One player from Real Madrid's team gets into Man City starting 11.
Well, Benzema does.
Benzema. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Modric on his day will get in that team.
Over who?
Yeah. Anyone really?
Anyone?
Over
Modric.
KDB.
No,
Oh, the same kid. Oh, the industry plans who ghosted this game.
Not.
We'll talk
I would
KDB
put
a bit later.
not KDB specifically, but there's 2 other spots in that midfield that he could get in and rotate and so on.
Valverde gets misplaced for Mahrez. That's a fact. Let's not lie.
Huh?
Yeah.
Valverde or
Mahrez doesn't start for them.
Listen, I'm just saying there's spots in that Real Madrid, there's spots in that Man City side, obviously, where you say guaranteed fact who's going to play. But I think the midfield, there's a shout. You could misplace Rodri for Casemiro. There's arguments.
No, you're right. I agree with you, Gal. They're definitely
the only other one
City
is
team's not
potentially
set in stone.
only
is
one
it?
The goalkeeper definitely Courtois or
no,
Ederson.
Potentially Alaba, but other than
Maybe.
that,
But let's go through some more of these. I'm just thankful I didn't need to look for another team to go on loan to, because I was beginning to run out of options. The treble still lives. Casey, Pep's still better than Fergie. 2 Champions Leagues in 30 years. It's true, but 4 finals, 2 Champions Leagues, Cup Winners' Cup. He did well. I mean, there's only literally is it 2 managers that have ever won more Champions Leagues than Fergie?
Is Ancelotti better than Fergie?
No.
What if he wins a 4th?
He has a case.
he's not winning a 4th.
There's a case there for having 4, but again when you look at everything. So, like I've said, I didn't say you become the greatest team of all time just by winning a Champions League, but I think you need it as part of it. It's looking at the whole body of work, isn't it? And they've got Ancelotti. Ancelotti's never won a back
league, Terry.
What? Sorry.
He's won in every.
He's brilliant. He's one of the best. I'm just about to say, but he's never done a back-to-back league title. So my point is, it's a debate. It's a debate. It's there. Like, you're smiling. I'm not disagreeing that he's not a great manager. He's definitely in front of Wenger, though. That's all I will say. Pep lost 6 Champions League semi-finals. That's a fact. City fans should just accept the defeat graciously because it's nothing new. Terry, surely you have to agree that Pep hasn't bottled it. Don't you say that if the players get the chances because of the manager's system, you can't blame the manager? It's a very good challenge, Will. And my sort of rebuttal to that is, in individual games, yes. But this has happened consistently since he left Barcelona. Like, you can't ignore the pattern and the trend. It's like denying that the climate changes just because of one anomaly, one little, oh look, this fact shows it's, you know, it was actually colder this summer than it was 3 years ago. Therefore, climate change doesn't exist. It's weird. You can't do that. You have to look at the overall trends, Will. But great super chat, great challenge, my friend. Villa and Forest have more Champions Leagues than City and Arsenal. This is a fact. Well, it definitely is.
That's what we were alluding to.
Because Wenger also fouled. Daniel, it wasn't to trip them up. I was asking
That's
genuinely.
what the two of us thought. Louis and the gal, we all looked. We were like, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, that's what.
Terry,
that's what
in the back of your mind where you asked that question, it was a little bit.
It's not to trip people up. It's more, I'm intrigued to get what you find in football a lot is people will think about their answers and go, right, I want to call Pep a failure, but if I do, can it be twisted into my GOAT manager was a failure or my favorite player? That's how people do their football.
You know, Terry, and that's why I even said it. When you asked the question, I was like, why is everyone hesitating? It's not a trick question. Just answer it. I didn't even think
my
like
point
that.
of view is this, right? If someone said to me, Fergie failed in Europe, but all the other top men, not one or two, if all the other great managers on the list had 4 or 5 Champions League titles and he had 2, I would say he failed in Europe. The fact that I think Ancelotti's got 3, Zidane's got 3, and then everybody else is on 2 with him, I can't say he's a failure. Like, it's logic in that for me.
Makes sense. Makes
Pep
sense.
Barca annihilated Fergie twice. They did. There's no doubt about it.
2011 was crazy, bro. 2011 was crazy.
They absolutely destroyed Manchester United. And again, but what I do think is a little bit disingenuous is Danny Williams once knocked out Mike Tyson. But if Mike Tyson was 15 years younger, Danny Williams weren't touching him. There's timing of everything, my friend. That bald, fraudulent air traffic controller could be conducting traffic at the Abu Dhabi airport, not being at the helm of Manchester Blue, is what he's trying to say there.
I like this guy. I like
David went in there. David went in. For me, Terry, last night and Pep's Champions League exits with Bayern in the Champions League does show he's a failure European-wise. And for me right now, I think it's fair to say Klopp is the best manager in the world.
Whoa, relax. The season hasn't ended yet, man. What the hell? Liverpool could only end up with the Karabuki Cup. So let's see what happens with the FA Cup. Let's see which can happen in the league. And you have to play the Heritage Merchants in the UCL finals, so relax. You gotta relax. May 14th, relax. You gotta relax, man.
Do Chelsea need a lift to the final at Wembley? Can they
Louis,
afford the bus,
May 14th. Keep talking, May 14th. And look, so Ball is coming home, okay?
The biggest thing Chelsea will have to do that week is get to the stadium.
Which we will be cancelled. I don't know what you're on about. I don't know what kind of laws are there. We're all good. We're getting taken over very soon. We're all good, man. Relax.
That game will be one of the easiest games Liverpool have for the remainder of the season.
Terry, can you clip this? Terry, can you clip this?
Clip that.
Can you clip that?
KJ's backstage. Clip it, KJ.
KJ, clip this, please. So let me just say. So May 14th is going to be the easiest game. Liverpool win 5-0. Will embarrass us. Don't you dare allow Chelsea to win. Don't you dare allow Kai Havertz or Loke or the Edge to drop a 3-piece on you. Don't you dare. Because the arrogance is disgusting. It makes me sick. It's filthy.
You let any
it's not arrogance. It's just
of course it's arrogance. All we have Liverpool fans that, oh my gosh, every Liverpool fan I've spoken to is May 14th. That's easy. It's easy. Who are Chelsea? Don't you dare.
You're comparing a Ferrari to a Fiat.
Wow.
Hashtag May 14th. We'll see what happens on May 14th. Don't you dare lose to a bunch of truck drivers and food sellers. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
I'm pretty confident.
I know you are.
There we go. We've got some more super chats here. Thank you very much for that one. Zotta here says, why does everyone try to give Pep a pass? He failed. Klopp was never given a pass for bottling in Europe because he couldn't win in Europe. He did get a lot of stick for that. By the way, I would say about that other comment, I don't think Pep's a failure in Europe. He has got 2 Champions League trophies, and that shouldn't be discounted because there's lots of managers had their whole careers, peak of their powers, best club, one of the best clubs in their league, and never won it. So we can't discredit him for that. Eddie here says Pep's failure because of money spent. No Champions League to show. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, 2.3 billion I read. Fat Zard.
Oh, shut up.
Going to win 2 titles and a Champions League.
Terry, get this off the screen. Get this off the screen.
But it's true though. Real Madrid, he's going to win a league title.
His name is Hazard. His name is Hazard. Get this off the screen.
I love Hazard doesn't even get on the pitch though. He's
injured. He's injured.
Wait, how is he going to win 2 Champions Leagues? I'm confused.
Oh, because if he's on the bench for the Champions League, no, it says 2 titles and 1 Champions League.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
the hazard effect. The hazard effect.
The hazard effect. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, what he does, he eats all the other food. It keeps everybody else fitter. Like,
wait, Terry. We can't start fat shaming people.
That doesn't work with Luke Shaw at Man United. So.
Terry.
Luke Shaw's another one who should definitely be looking after his weight. And it isn't fat shaming to call a professional athlete overweight. His job is to be in shape. It's
what if he's suffering from depression that we don't know about?
Then I will take it back. But until that gets confirmed, he's overweight for an athlete. You know, you criticize players all the time. You never worried about their mental state. Why now? Why for Hazard? Are you
wait. Who have I personally insulted the way you are personally insulting Hazard, calling him overweight?
What is it you call Lukaku?
No, I call him Romelu Lukaku, the very friendly Belgian who recruited from Congo.
Bro, you call people geriatrics and
yeah.
What? Excuse me. What?
They might be looking old and slow because they're depressed to have hope. What are you saying?
I've never used the word geriatric before. I don't know what you're on about.
Geriatric. There we go. Joshua here says, anyone talking about Fergie? He won European Cups at Aberdeen, and I've never
allegedly.
Allegedly, I have never seen a City under Pep have a great comeback. Can't think of any. That's kind of true, you know. I think Colleen mentioned that earlier. But we were talking about the league now, and of course, will City bottle it? Will City throw it away? I want your opinions. But Patty. 7:30 Saturday night, Liverpool go to Anfield. You could stop the quad and English football would love you forever. I think we should commission a trophy for Liverpool for Spurs if they do that.
Listen,
you
it's happening, Terry.
Yourselves back in the ascendancy for the top 4 race. What is happening Saturday, brother?
We go to Anfield and we beat them 3-2. You heard it here
Whoa,
first. Clip this.
Trick, relax.
Put it out. We are winning 3-2. I'm saying it right now.
Trick, relax.
We're gonna exploit that high line that Liverpool love to play. Matip has been getting a lot of credit and fair play to him, but Sonny running in behind, Kane dropping deep, spraying it right over. Yeah, man, I can see it. The thing is, we don't have anything to fear going there. We have to win. But the great thing is that Liverpool have to come and play. They have to win the game as well. And Liverpool are decent on their day. The thing is, Liverpool have been good.
Decent.
Yeah, decent. You've been decent in recent weeks. Some of the results have flattered you. Even you, the most biased Liverpool fan, will agree to that. Against Newcastle, you only beat them 1-0. You was okay in spurts. Even against Villarreal. If they were a bit better, they would have put you to the sword in that second half.
Surprised you know how to watch football on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
That's a good one. I like it. Yeah. Yeah, man. I see us. I don't know. It's a bit weird. People might think I'm crazy, but I see us winning that game.
It's gonna be the most and the reason I was saying that I was joking when I said it would be one of Liverpool's easiest games against Chelsea. But the game that worries me most is Tottenham because we play exactly the way they want to play against.
Exactly.
High line, Kane in that half space, basically spraying balls to Son. That is going to be key. Trent is going to have the game of his life. I mean, offensively, I don't even think he'll offer anything. He'll all be defending. We play the way that Tottenham want to play. 100%. I just think that midfield battle is key. If we can get Fabinho and Thiago onto Kane whenever he gets the ball, it's basically Son. And this might be a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I don't watch Tottenham as much as you do, but I think Kane is the key to everything. Son will play well, but he has to have Kane to play well.
Yeah, Kane servicing them against a team like you with brilliant defenders. Son one-on-one with Virgil or Matip might be quite difficult to break down. But if, like you said, Kane is dropping deep and spraying balls, it's game over for you lot. And Son one-on-one is as best as they come in terms of finishing. Obviously, I rate Alisson. He's a top. He's a world-class goalkeeper. But Sonny will find a way to finish if he does.
It'll be a difficult game. I just don't think. I don't think Tottenham win.
Do you think that Jurgen will change his game to accommodate the way Tottenham play, or do you think you guys will just play your game regardless?
I don't think Trent will get as high as he does at all. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays Konate over Matip to kind of have that pace, that recovery pace. I've even seen some shouts saying Joe Gomez could play right back over Trent. I don't see that because I just think Trent offers too much going forward from set pieces. I just think it is too much. It will be a very difficult game. It will be Liverpool's most difficult game of the season, definitely, because of the way we play and how you love to play against that. It's very similar to Man City. I just think if we can get Fabinho and Thiago onto Kane, we'll be fine. I'm going to go for a 2-0. But in terms of that Man City game, I know we stopped talking about it. They will either win 6-0 against Newcastle or drop points. There will be no in between. They will either thump them.
So they either win or lose.
Wait, just to cut
No. But by win, I mean they'll win. They'll either thump them or they'll drop points.
Wait, one second, please. Just before, I know we're going to go back to the Spurs game, but you might just want to glance before we get onto Chelsea. Abramovich just releasing a statement.
Yeah, I'm just getting a graphic ready for that now. Yeah, he's come out and said all the news that he wanted any of the loan being paid back. It's a long statement basically to say that I never wanted the loan back. It's fake news basically.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get onto that a little bit later. We know how football fans are. Most Chelsea fans will believe it because they love Roman Abramovich. Whether or not it's true or not is a different matter, but we'll get onto that a little bit later. Cheers for that, Cole. Thank you.
You know what? I'm seeing a few comments saying Spurs are bang average, Spurs are crap. I think people are forgetting. Yeah, we lost one and drew one with no shots on target, but other than that, our form has been pretty good. So, and I honestly see us going to. What do you mean have some shame? Check it out for yourself. What do you mean? I'm looking at it right here.
It's about the opposition. It's about the opposition though. Like we play exactly the way Tottenham want to.
Yeah, it's perfect for us.
No, but look, it's at Anfield. Like Liverpool at Anfield, man, they are very strong.
They are. But
don't get me wrong. We're not losing. There might be a little moment where I kind of go, "Ooh," that I don't in other games.
You are losing. You're losing on Saturday. You are. You're losing. You're losing.
Don't worry, Gal. Don't worry, Gal. We've got you.
Sorry, Gal. Let me just finish and then I'll let me land. And then last year we should have beat you at Anfield. Yeah, Bergwijn missed 2 sitters. We should have beat you at last year at Anfield. This year we should have no trophy, just facts. This year we should have put you to the sword at our ground as well. But now with the game on the line, I see us beating you. It's no like.
Yeah, I mean, in that game, Paul Tierney with his man of the match performance for.
No way. The refs are always up your ass, always. And we'll be playing against you lot, Anfield, and VAR. But I still see us.
Hang on, the same VAR that sent off Harry Kane in the first game. That VAR.
The same VAR that should have sent off Robertson as well. No,
he did get sent off.
Okay. Robertson.
Yeah, he got sent off.
If Liverpool play how they did,
he got sent off for Emerson
against Villarreal. If Liverpool play or put in a performance like how they did in the first half against Villarreal, I agree with Patrick. I actually think.
100%. Me too. Like if we play the way we played in the first half against Villarreal, definitely.
I agree. I actually really agree with Patrick. I think recently you have been winning, but you've not been as convincing.
Exactly.
But you don't have to be. You don't have
to be because you do get over the line. But I do think Conte will be rubbing his hands, licking his lips, thinking we could actually get some, maybe not a win, maybe a draw. They might be able to get something, you know.
But I mean, even you look at the Aston Villa Tottenham game, you guys weren't good. Like you could
we beat them 4-0. Come on, like don't say that.
In the first half, the score should have been 3.
Louis, but you got battered in the first half by Villarreal the other day, and
that's my point.
Listen, I look at this.
My point is, it happens to every team.
What are you saying, bro? Because obviously you don't want Tottenham to win, but can you see Spurs shocking the world and getting something from Liverpool this Saturday?
Okay, let me take you back. Liverpool versus Tottenham, the last 6 times they've played each other. Liverpool beat them 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. It was a 2-2 draw. Liverpool won 2-0 and 2-1. I really do see it being a close game again. But the fact that Liverpool are going to be going up against Sessegnon on the left wing, and the fact that they're going to go against Emerson Royal on the right wing, and they have the guys like Luis Diaz and Mo Salah, I really do believe it's just a mismatch on the defensive end. Even though they're going to be playing compact and they're going to have 3 at the back with wing backs, I still do. I can't find a way. I can't see a way where Liverpool don't cut this Tottenham team wide open. And in my opinion, this whole time, this is the most important game left in the season for every team. that has anything to fight for in the top half of the table. For Liverpool, they have to win. For Tottenham, they have to win. For Arsenal, we hope Tottenham drop points, and for Man City, they hope Liverpool drop points. So everyone's eyes are going to be on this. And the only way I see it is, I've been looking forward to this game because I know for a fact Anfield is probably one of the toughest places to play in the world, and I don't see this Tottenham team going there with everything that's on the line for them. And I really do believe going into that North London derby, if we beat Leeds, we'll go into that game with a 5-point advantage after they drop points.
You're saying do you think you're going to beat Leeds? Let's be real. You're going to beat Leeds, aren't you?
No, bro. You worry about Tottenham because
I'm worried about everything because
I sleep well at night knowing that you still have to face Liverpool at Anfield and we have to face Leeds. There's two different levels.
Yeah, but Leeds are fighting for that. That's a bit. I asked you a straight question. Do you think you're going to beat them? You're saying if. Just say if you think you're going to beat them.
It's the second last home game of the season. We've had a good home record. I'm very confident that we're going to beat them.
There you go. But Leeds are also fighting for their lives, and you know how dangerous a team are when they're fighting for their Premier League status and survival.
Almost as dangerous as when a team is fighting for the title.
Yeah,
that you're not going to win.
You know how dangerous a team is when they're one of the best teams at home. Let's be honest. Liverpool have one of the best home records.
We know that. Records are made to be broken. I also sleep comfortable at night knowing I've got Harry Kane and Heung-min Son, who are essentially the most deadliest duo in Premier League history. And they are that good. They can terrorize.
Yes, I mean, statistically, they are.
It's all there.
You want to know something? The two teams that are home this weekend, Liverpool and Arsenal, have two. Liverpool are first, Arsenal is third, with the best home records this season. If you're going to be confident going into a game when you're at home versus lesser opposition, then when are you ever going to be confident?
Bro, worse teams
I think momentum's a big thing in football, and Liverpool have the momentum. Even Arsenal, I wouldn't say they have the momentum, but right now they are in a position where it is in their hands. And with a win on Saturday, and if Tottenham lose, I think you can even afford to draw against Spurs in the North London derby. I think this game I wouldn't call it the most significant for the rest of the season in terms of the top four, because I still do think that is the North London derby. But this could be huge for everywhere in terms of the top of the table. But yeah,
I get what Igal's saying. That's why I was kind of listening to everybody for a while. I kind of get it, and I make Liverpool favourites. And if I'm putting a bet down, I'm betting on Liverpool to win this game.
Of course they are.
But
Definitely.
what I don't agree with, because when Palace played Man City earlier on in the season, when Brighton came to Arsenal a few short weeks ago, even last night with 2 minutes to go in the game, everybody went, "Shut your throat." I don't like this unequivocal, undeniable. Of course, this is going to happen because it's what's most likely. There is a chance that that Spurs pull something off. Maybe not a win, but even a draw. I've always felt that in this last 5 or 6 games, since the Liverpool City draw, there was going to be a shock result. Liverpool versus Tottenham could be what that game.
It's happening. It's happening this weekend.
It could be Newcastle versus City. That could be the shock. Something's going to happen at some moment and at some time, if that kind of makes sense. And look, I would love it to be Liverpool. I would love it to be Spurs. I'm going to be a Spurs fan for the afternoon because I need this quad stop. To not winning the league is the best thing because it means you don't equal our 20 league titles. You can't do a treble. You can't do any kind of treble. No kind of quad. There's only 2 types anyway. Like, it's as simple as that for me. I want them to do it.
But I just want to mention
Plus it makes the North London derby fire. If you're neutral to this on a real level, if your team isn't involved in this, you're semi-neutral. You should want a Tottenham win because. Or even a draw would be even better because what it will then do, it makes that North London derby, for me, the most potent North London derby of a generation because there's so much riding on it for these two teams. So I'm really thinking about this as a Man United fan and as a content creator because I'm like, we've got the 12th man to film. It's going to make on Monday, which is going to be fire. We've got the watch along in the studio on the Thursday and the match reaction. It's going to be an absolute madness. So I'm just thinking about the content, to be honest. But yeah.
I just want to mention one thing. I feel sorry for Newcastle. After the way they just lost to Real Madrid, Manchester City are going to pipe Newcastle like 7-0. Let's be real.
It will either
No,
be.
but-
It could get ugly. It could
No,
get
but,
ugly.
but see, hence why it's difficult to know what Man City's players and their psychology will be, because it's like, how much has this damaged them? Could it be like, boom, we're going to go back, or could it be like, man, look, we've won this league several times before and everything. We really need to hit this Champions League. So we won't really know. That's why it's going to be very key to look at their body language. Because if they win 7-0, boom. Now, because Louis, there's a scenario where they could win 1-0. And it's a struggle mistake, but they're just about to do so, like, it's only 1-0. Now, what about that Wolves game as well? But going back to the whole Liverpool Spurs thing, like, look, true, records are there to be broken. I am going with Liverpool and so forth, but it's like, you never know when it's going to be the first time for something. And what you learn about football is never assume. See, my assumption is I think Liverpool and City will win all the rest of their games. But you just never know. Basically, expect the unexpected. And I think if Son and Kane combine really well and they attack that space that they're going to get against Liverpool, because Liverpool don't set it back, so the space will be there. So if they properly execute on the counters and the transitions, it could be because I see a potential to be a 2-2. I don't think Tottenham can win, but I see potentially if Tottenham really gets all the things right and they execute in the transitions, I see like a 2-2 as a potential.
You know what? If anyone knows about my score predictions, I'm telling you right now, put a bet down for Tottenham to win 3-2. You're going to get good money. Son and Kane and Kulusevski are going to do some damage on Saturday.
I am very excited for Diaz on Romero, because I'm excited. I think Romero is quality. So good, and I think this will be a real test. See how good he is, because I really like him. I really like him. I honestly, I think he's, like, in terms of performances, he's been one of the top defenders in the league.
What about Emerson Royale?
Yeah, we know Emerson Royale's crap. We get it.
Listen, if I was Conte, I would just tell him not to worry about defending. I'd just be like, you're going to do more hindrance.
He's rubbish. He is.
Just leave that to Romero. But no, I think it will be a good game. And in all seriousness, all jokes aside, it'll be a nerve-wracking game. It'll be one of those Liverpool games where we got to cling on. We'll have to, Alisson will have to make a few big saves. I just think when I look at momentum in football, I said it is a big thing. Other than that game in April against Man City, which, to be honest, was a title decider, kind of, it could have gone either way. The last time Liverpool dropped points was the first game in January. Like, there is just something to be said.
This Anfield curse and hoodoo has to be broken at some point, and I'm with Have Hope. It's the time to actually break it, man.
In fairness, it hasn't. It
has to be broken at some point.
I get what you're saying, and if I was a Tottenham fan, I'd be going into this. I wouldn't say confident, because I don't think you can go into the best team in the world confident, but thinking you've got a chance.
Best team in the world.
Wait, hang on.
I like how you tried to sneak that in there. I like how you tried to sneak that in.
It's not even sneaking. It's not even sneaking it in.
I agree with Louis.
It's just like calling them Liverpool. It's a fact.
They're not winning the quad. Guys, let's be real. That quad ain't happening, bro. Like, that quad is a pipe dream. It's a pipe dream.
This quad, put me full screen, Terry. Put me full screen.
Oh, hang on.
Terry, don't.
Full screen money.
I wasn't going to say this because it will get clipped and whatever, but the quad is happening. And there is nothing anyone can do about it.
Now it's officially not happening.
Over 90 minutes, Real Madrid, I wouldn't call it easy, and especially in the European final, because anything can happen.
Respect Real Madrid, man. You know their pedigree already. Respect Carlo Ancelotti.
Let's let Louis just say what he's got to say.
Let the pros talk about Tuesday and Wednesday night football. When we get onto Thursday night football, you can pipe in. But for now, we'll talk about Wednesday and Tuesday night football. European night, anything can happen, but I bet Liverpool to win comfortably over Real Madrid. FA Cup, again, it'll be a tight game. That joke about it being one of the easiest games, I don't think it'll be difficult, but I do think Chelsea will cause some problems. I still see us winning. And I see City dropping points. So I genuinely think the quad is happening. I was celebrating like you wouldn't believe last night when Rodrigo and Benzema scored, because Man City in that one-off game, I could see them beating us. But now I genuinely, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, don't think there's a cat's hell chance that Man City don't show the side effects of that game against Newcastle. They played 120 minutes, and they're playing a team that hasn't played in a week, and it would have been 8 days since they played against an informed team. Let's not forget Liverpool, and they only won 1-0 last week. Liverpool. It will be a very tight game against Newcastle, and I back Newcastle to get something from the game or get absolutely spanked. I can't figure it out yet, but I'm going with my heart on this one. I'm going to go for Newcastle to get some points, and then the quad's happening. 100% done deal, and then Liverpool go down as the best English side ever.
What's your point like crap?
Hang on.
This is gonna come back to haunt you.
No, listen.
Pile of trash, man.
If Liverpool lose a game, I'm never coming on the show again. Like,
No, you gotta come back on. You can't
No,
be
no,
full.
no.
Yeah, no. Get back
I'm
here.
Say all of that stuff,
guys.
and then
I'm not even gonna like pretend. You're never gonna see me again. Like never, ever. Like it won't happen. But have hope. You laughed right when I said Liverpool would be this Liverpool team would be the best team ever. How can you dispute it if we win the quad?
First of all, you're not winning the quad. But let's go into La La Land. Let's take a trip to La La Land.
Yeah.
So let's say you do win the quadruple.
When?
That would be interesting. But you have to look at what Real Madrid did, which is win 3 Champions Leagues
I said
over
best
3.
English,
over 3.
I said best English team ever.
Best English team ever.
There we go. We got it now.
Yeah, I mean, look, man. I
He's
mean,
definitely-
no. I mean, look. I mean, if
So are you admitting up to this point then that Man United are because we did the treble then?
Yeah.
Cool.
look, that game in '99, I don't know, man. Like 2 goals in. That's so. I don't know, man.
Hang on a minute,
Okay, sorry. Okay,
hang on,
yes.
hang on,
Okay,
hang
yes.
on,
Fine.
hang
Yes.
on.
Okay.
Yeah, because you just remembered that a minute ago you said Real Madrid are brilliant. They scored 2 goals in 2 minutes.
Okay, fine. Turkey, yes, all right. At the moment in time, allegedly, United are like, sort of in parentheses.
So, I mean,
He's
and-
shagged himself up his own arse. He's like, "Ah,
And this is this is not just Fav Hope, but are Liverpool the best team ever if we in England if we win the quad?
best single,
undeniable, of
best
course,
si-
yes.
best
It's a
single
yes.
season achievement ever, no
yeah,
doubt.
100%.
That's true.
Yeah,
But it's not going to happen, so we don't need to worry about it.
No,
Thank
no,
you.
no.
So what happened? This is freaking like
Listen,
fantasy land, man. Get out of
listen,
here, man.
I know it's easy for you to get into fantasy land, have hope when you talk about Hazard being the like one of the best players ever and things like that. So I know
That's
it's easy
reality.
for you to slip in to that mindset, but the quad's happening. The quad is happening. And
You're
trust me,
Louis. You're
it's
deluded.
happening.
So
Yeah,
your
it's
fans, you and your
happening.
fans are deluded.
And hang on, and I work with Terry. Terry, I'm going to be insufferable. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, it's fine.
But if you lose, you're gonna hide.
but you'll also know there's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
cameras
I-
when we're at
ne-
work.
never
If you
see
get
me
too
again.
insufferable, I'm gonna give you the people's elbow. Bro.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I'll knock you out.
No.
Oh, wow. Louis is on one
No,
today.
Terry
guys.
knows martial arts, man. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
No,
So
I've seen Terry in the I've
I
seen him
will
in the flesh. I'm not
suplex
coming
you through one of our tables, and then the people's elbow is coming out.
At least let me get the cameras to get some good content. But it's
Viewers, who'd be interested in watching me beat up on Louis for content? That'd be good. That'd be good.
listen.
Can you imagine
Wait,
that? He catches me. It catches me and sparks me. I'd never live it down. Do you know what I mean? Literally
I
getting
might like
knocked
hit
out
you
by-
with like the FA Cup or like the
You
Carabao Cup.
can be.
or
Have
the
you guys all
Champions League.
seen Frozen?
No,
The kids
I haven't
movie.
watched
oh,
it.
let it go. On
Yeah.
hell no.
Exactly.
These little people that are made out of rocks, and Louis reminds me of them. Do you know what I mean? So just like one of them. I'll find
Oh,
them.
no. Pixar is overrated, man. Pixar is overrated.
Here we go. A lot of people saying me. Cole, what are you saying about this? Like, Liverpool fans are really confident this quad. You're saying it ain't happening. Why?
You know, I mean, it's more me being salty than anything, if I'm being completely honest. But the other half of it is, I've been consistent. I've been back in Real Madrid since even before the Chelsea game, even with Paris Saint-Germain.
Someone has to be fair. Someone has to.
They're breaking Scouse hearts. Don't know how to tell you this. Quad ain't happening. And
No, I'm not Scouse. I'm not Scouse. It doesn't count.
So okay, fair enough then. Where's your local? Who's your local team? I want to get into that debate.
Probably Arsenal.
Oh my God, this guy.
No, I mean, my is it in terms of location? My local team is Arsenal.
I personally think Tottenham are going to nick some points on Liverpool. Personally, I do think they will.
No, I've been in your situation before.
I don't want them to, but
No, I've been in your situation before where it's almost like I tell myself, oh, there's no chance Man City lose. I was in this yesterday, and it's almost because you don't want to get your hopes up. But don't worry, we've got you guys. Like, don't worry.
Listen,
I,
I hear you.
the next time me, you, and a guy on a show together, I will get my thank you segment from you guys when when we beat Tottenham and we secure you guys top 4.
But if you lose on Saturday, are you going to come back on? Because that's not the quad still being off.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Why not? That's just one game.
You want? I told you.
This guy hasn't
come on,
You will never see me again.
Hasn't worn the Arsenal shirt from the bet he lost months ago.
Terry,
oh really? You lost the bet?
No,
I didn't even know.
Terry, I told you. You buy me the shirt and I'll wear it.
I'm not spending money on a bet you fucking lost, bro.
It's for Football Terry's content.
It's not for my content. Listen, I'm not spending money.
It's a business expense.
It's not a business expense. You lost the bet, you tight ass. That's what you are.
No.
You tight ass, bro.
We'll talk later. You
tight ass. They've got some super chats here to do. First one says, City should appoint 2 managers, Pep to manage the Premier League and Ancelotti to manage the Champions League this year. That's a great super chat there, Jason. Selection says, look how effective Klopp's offside trap is. I've been calling it now. Spurs won't do much. Paul 2-0. Liverpool starting to keep the ball much better is what Selection thinks.
I'm not even being funny. I would take a Kane and Son double ACL tear in the first minute and just
stop all of this.
If
you're doing a glory, man, you don't need all that.
No, I take it. 100% take it.
You know what's funny, Louis, right? I've heard a lot of Liverpool fans say things like that. And then when Salah hurts his shoulder, it's like, no, Ramos should be banned for life. Do you know what I mean?
No, I agree. Okay. Maybe ACL was harsh. A small hamstring twinge.
Stop it.
In the first minute, both of them go.
This is why you're not winning the quad.
Your team's good enough to win the game properly. If you say,
Thank you. I'm glad you finally.
No. If we believe everything you're saying, your team's good enough to win the game.
Yeah. You want Sonny and Kane injured because you know that you let your mask slip there, brother.
Exactly.
They're dangerous. They're dangerous. It will just make it less stressful.
Super chat here says Villarreal are a better team than Arsenal and Spurs, is what KC says.
In Europe, yes. We're not in
it. Exactly. In Europe, yeah. But in terms, if you watch the football, you can see Villarreal ain't better than Arsenal or Spurs.
Let's relax.
Happy UK TV here says Pep lost a 14-point advantage over Liverpool and is out of every competition after spending 100 million on flop Grealish and close to 2 billion at City alone. I will add, by the way, say this. This will be one of the worst seasons in Premier League football history if Man City don't win the Premier League, because the 14-point gap, the quality of their and Liverpool squads compared to the rest of Europe and right across the board, to win nothing when you're that good, but to throw away a 14-point lead at the top of the league, embarrassing. Yet Pep is never criticised. Such a god must be. Bayern won the Champions League before and after him. Go figure, Fraudiola. Chelsea fan here. Spurs front forward line is the best in the world for many neutral football fans. Spurs equal what I signed up to watch in football, not Cruyff Pep BS, is what he said there. Man United's 1999 team also did a 3-peat in the Premier League. That's it. That's why that argument about the greatest team ever versus greatest single achievement ever, I think, are two different conversations, because a 3-peat of league titles, and as you said earlier, Louis, winning league titles is the hardest thing. It's between those. It's between those. Is it like? Yeah, I think, without a doubt. And I'm not. It becomes a good debate. I strongly believe if Liverpool are on quad watch for that final, Madrid will win and break hearts. Is what Eddie's got to say.
The thing is, right? It was like, if you told me before the season we'll win the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, and the Premier League, I'll be like, yeah, gladly. But I'd go away from that almost disappointed with the season, because of all the it does require a bit of context and a little bit of perspective, and after a day I'll be fine, but it'd be it was so close. That quad was so close.
Sheriff here says, man, I think it means I don't like this Liverpool fan though. Why is he always bringing up Hazard all the effing time?
Hey,
get this through to your heads. One is only about scoring goals, and the next is about getting more involved in games. Is what Sheriff G has got to say.
Tell this guy, look at the assist charts and tell me that Salah just scores goals, and then that's why I bring up Hazard.
Salah is not on the Hazard's level
because people like you have the audacity to bring up Hazard's name in debates where fat ass, and I can say that.
I think
Whoa!
where they
What the heck?
don't, where they don't.
And I can say that. Why can you say it?
Because I'm a big boy. I'm a big boy. We can say that. We can say that. We can say that.
Oh,
this whole Chelsea Hazard thing. Come on, guys, just accept it. Hazard's past his time right now. He's not playing well. He's not playing at all. And if he makes a move to another team, maybe he's retire.
But he was once one of the best players in the world, and I still
No,
believe
he
in
was
it.
never. He was
Yes,
never.
Egal, he was. Egal, you know he was.
And an
You know he was.
80-year-old woman might have been the most attractive woman.
He never
in the world
even beat the
once, but she's
Neymar
not
allegations.
anymore.
Stop it.
That wouldn't stop you though, Louis.
No, of course not. Desperate times.
Yeah, I get that. We took Spurs V card in the 2019 Champions League.
Yeah.
It's why they're mad. Okay, took their virginity is what you're saying there. Louis, you shouldn't be saying stuff like that. What the F about the cruciate ligament injuries? You're being called out.
It's horrible stuff. Horrible stuff, mate.
I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm not deluded to think that we can do the quad. Still not in our hands. Focus on well, there's no treble either because there's only one treble. Yeah, but I hear you. Not gonna lie, Terry, you need to bring on another Liverpool fan at times. This guy is so cringe. I have to mute him. Laugh my ass off. No, you're getting called cringe, Lulu.
That's all right. That's all right. You think I'm cringe now? If you think I'm cringe now, just you wait till May 29th.
In fairness, I like Louis because he is cringe. Do you know what I mean? It's
just you wait till May 29th.
You've all seen his video when he was training with the WWF wrestling stars, right?
I ain't seen that.
Louis, I'll put a link into the group chat later. This guy got abused. There was a moment where the guy picks up like a medicine ball. I've never seen someone throw a medicine ball at another human being so hard in my life.
I gotta see this.
Louis got proper exposed, mate. It was great to see. If you want to see Louis get out, I'll share later. Tottenham best three. What have they won? Last time Tottenham won the league was on black.
This is so boring. We're talking about this game and the context of the Premier League this year. All this, what have we won? Yeah, we ain't won nothing. We get it, but we're talking about this game, Anfield, Saturday, 7:45. Tune in and see what I'm saying.
Tune in and see what I won. That's what we're
in it, bruv.
Someone sent me through a picture of the troll. They said someone put it in the comments. I did steal it from someone. They said this is what Louis looks like. One of the trolls from Frozen.
Oh shit!
Wow.
That is a little bit Louis.
Terry, I'm gonna knock you out when I see
you.
I'm gonna knock it out. When are you next in the office?
Saturday when I'm actually working. Saturday.
Oh, okay. I don't work.
You won't be there if you don't work weekends, part time and all that. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
it's not my fault. Someone sent it through. I'm just putting it up there.
No. When you got a blue tick and you're on the big bucks, you don't work weekends.
Oh, blue tick on the big bucks. Look, check. You have got a blue tick to be fair. Did you have to apply for that yourself though? They just give it to you.
No. They asked if I wanted a golden blue tick, and I was like, no. I just have a normal one.
The funniest thing is about that picture of the troll. Louis' arms are actually that short as well. That's
Bro, my arms are not that short.
Bruv, I saw you. You had to get a stick to scratch your foot. I saw it.
Stop. I want to stick a GoPro to your head and film a day like in the office where you see me and we can all these interactions that we have just don't happen.
Yeah, it's true. There we go. I want to ask though, takeover of Chelsea. Terry's cap is glued on. No, it's fine. These guys all see me in the studio. They all see my hair. They all know the transplant's coming along nice. They was waiting for the reveal. Chelsea's takeover have hope. Nearly done, nearly over the line. But there has been a statement that's been released by Roman. And I really want to hear a response from the Times newspaper about this, to be fair, because they put out the news originally. But Roman Abramovich has said, and I'm going to need to get this in a bigger version because on my little screen now I can't actually read this. But essentially what overall has been said is that it says, firstly, Mr. Abramovich's intentions in relation to gifting the proceeds from the Chelsea sale to charity have not changed. Since the initial announcement, Mr. Abramovich's team has identified senior representatives from the UN bodies, etc. Mr. Abramovich has not been involved in this work and has been managed independently through experts. He goes on to say, secondly, Roman has not asked for any loan to be repaid to him. Such suggestions are entirely false, as are suggestions that Roman Abramovich increased the price of the club last minute. So there's a lot of, it's interesting, there's a lot in this, but there's a lot of talk in recent weeks about an extra 500 million need to be pumped in, and Todd Bowley's group have done it, and it meant that there was less money coming in from Clear Lake. The loan talk, and all of this. Roman has now come out via Chelsea Football Club to say none of this is true. There was a report earlier on today from Ben Jacobs saying that the takeover is nearly over. What I find interesting about that news, though, is that the Times went with it, and then every other single newspaper, even the Chelsea tier ones, kind of went with this story that it could throw a spanner into the works. But it looks like the takeover is about to be complete. How are you feeling about it, Have Hope?
No, look, as I said, like the sooner this happens, the better. And I think you see, like I say, Twitter is a cesspool. So is social media. Like people like to go into extremities. And people are like, oh my gosh, like the amounts of messages I've received of like Chelsea are finished, Chelsea are done, you're not going to be playing in the Sky Bets One championship and so forth. I'm like what kind of crap are you on about? Like people really believe that Chelsea will go into administration and so forth. They're like, no, things are going to be sorted out. The Todd Boehly thing is going to take over. And my only hope is that whoever takes over can just help and support Tuchel. So I think it's people. We work on exaggeration. People like to exaggerate things. Oh my gosh, this is going to happen, blah, blah, blah. But I think when you just take a step back and are just sort of calm and composed about things, the takeover is nearly done. And when that happens, this will happen. So, but it's quite funny, though, as to how people were running with that whole thing of Abramovich wanted the loan to be repaid. When it's like, okay, did Roman actually say this? Has he actually come out and said that he wants this loan to be repaid? So, look, it's where we were. Get the takeover done. Get that down the road and, give me my targets, Lewandowski, Pogba, all of those, man. So
I think that's delusional right there.
Huh?
I think that's delusional.
What's delusional? I talk facts, man. I talk facts. What's delusional?
In the sense that you think Chelsea can still attract players like Pogba, Lewandowski.
Why not? Why not?
With the level of uncertainty with your new ownership, how much money is actually going to be spent? What's actually going to happen?
What? Okay, so when the owners take over,
uncertainty to try to think you can attract those kind of players.
When they take over, when the new owners take over, and they promise to support Tuchel and so forth, where is the uncertainty? There is no uncertainty. Let me explain. You're being a pessimist. You're viewing the glass as half empty.
Let me be real. From the outside looking in, you guys have a situation where you have two center backs, first team center backs who are going to be leaving. You have an attack that's currently not firing. You're going to have to find a way to bolster or sell some of those players to get sorted out. You're going to have to get some midfielders in, or you're going to depend on some of the academy. You also have a board who has been operating in a system where whenever you need anything, you just go and get it. You don't actually have to worry about other things. Yes, you've been self-sustaining to a bit when it comes to net profit and spend on a regular basis. But when you do have a change in ownership, there is going to be changes in the way you operate. And at this moment in time, with all the changes happening, it's unrealistic to expect a Lewandowski or a Pogba to be coming in this January or this summer.
Okay. What if
top players though, Gal? I'm not buying it.
I'm not saying they can't attract top players. Don't get it mistaken. I'm just saying to expect these type of signings to happen in the period of so much uncertainty and such a transition is kind of
wait. No, okay, but again, you're viewing the glass as half empty. What if these new owners take over and they say, "Yo, Chelsea, you're good. We're going to give you the cash. We're going to take care of you. Relax. Everything is all cool. What you want? You want a Labille? You want the ski? You want the ooze? Who do you want? Take it. You want these defenders? We're all good." So you're viewing it through the whole negative thing. But what's my name? I'm half up. I'm the positive guy. I'm viewing things more positively. So the more positive spin is the right owner with the right outlook, bringing in the players that Tuchel wants, and it's now a team in Tuchel's vision, and then we can now break this whole Liverpool Man City hold on the EPL. View things positively, man.
First things first.
Be an optimist.
First of all, I'm actually trying to be balanced here. If you want me to be super negative, I could go there, but I'm not even doing that. What you're saying
there are two sides. There are two sides.
What you're saying is not positive. What you're saying is not realistic. It's overly. You're getting into the same level as Ty. Like that's what you're doing.
No.
Level of delusion where you genuinely believe you could now get a new ownership, sign 2-3 world-class players, and then break the stranglehold of Man City and Liverpool. That's not realistic.
Wait.
Hang on, stranglehold of Liverpool. Sorry. Let me just.
Okay, relax. No.
Get out.
Wait. Egal. Now, okay, look.
I'm not saying you can't attract players. I'm not saying Chelsea's finished. I'm just saying it's going to take it's going to take an adjustment period with new ownership to get their feet under themselves, get used to the situation. And even though you have a board who's been operating in a different system, they're going to have to get used to operating in a different system. You're not going to be able to go out and buy £100 million worth of 2 new center backs, buy 2 new midfielders, and get a new striker in, and still have Lukaku and all these guys in your books.
Basically, realistically speaking, we don't know. But if we want to be realistic about it, I am slightly worried. I'll be real with you. I'm slightly worried. Like, so the optimist in me is that this is the right dude. But again, the glory days of Abramovich, those days are gone. Like, he is one of the greatest owners of all time based on how he was as a fan. And we know that these American guys that are coming, they don't really understand football in the same way that a Sheikh Mansour or these guys do. So the only thing I can hope for is I feel Tuchel is a damn good manager. And he hasn't really been supported. So the only hope I have is that when the new owners come in, okay, Tuchel, build a team in your vision. Because in my view, I don't think Tuchel wanted Lukaku. Lukaku was forced upon him. Havertz, Timo Werner was by that tyrant, dictator clown known as Francis Lampard. So these aren't Tuchel's players. So if Tuchel can be said, I'm going to give you your players and have a team in your vision, he can at least attempt to break the whole Liverpool, Man City duopoly. Because, yeah, look, I've said this before. I'm not sure a team wins the league as long as Pep and Klopp are here. I'm not sure. But again, you can only hope. Because, again, we can't assume things. Like the whole Liverpool-Tottenham thing. We assume Liverpool will beat Tottenham. For the next 4 or 5 years, as long as Pep and Klopp are here, we assume they're going to win the leagues. But you just never know if a team has a really good summer.
You know what I want to say?
Last thing, new ownership won't change your recruitment issues that you've had for the whole time Roman's there. And if they continue to make the same mistakes,
why won't new ownership and new running of the club change mistakes from the previous ownership?
It will over time, but it will not change it this summer, Terry. That's what I'm alluding to. This summer is not there. Everything's not going to change dramatically in one summer.
Yeah, but you can start putting the wheels in motion.
I agree with you.
I would say there's elements of what you said that's right, Igal. And look, I look at it this way: a lot of people are celebrating this news that Roman didn't ask for the money back, and that's fair enough. But there is still this debt of £1.6 billion. And a journalist said to me earlier on today, whose name I want to get right, his name is Rob. He's a Chelsea journalist, worked for a number of outlets. And he said to me that the sale stipulations were written, were made so that the writing off of the loans and debts would be made. Roman Abramovich wants to do it that way, according to the most accurate reports, just can't because the sanctions prevent it. So it's almost the sanctions are not allowing the debt to be written off. If I was a Chelsea fan, there's still questions. Like, so if you just take Roman not wanting the money away, that doesn't answer all my questions. I want to know how Todd Bowley's group are going to make up the difference in income through the loan mark. Because I was talking to Lee Gunner about this yesterday. He was like, they make so much money from the loan system. That's changing over the next 3 years. Roman was pumping in 20 to 30 million a year in loans. That's gone. I would want it as a Chelsea fan in cast iron, easy to understand writing that this debt's never going to have to be repaid by the club. I would be demanding that as a supporters group, because if it might be 5 years' time when the sanctions are lifted, then the debts that got to be looked at. I would just want it in cast iron writing. I'll tell you as to why, because the loan market is what enabled Chelsea to maintain their spending power through FFP. And Roman's loans. So there is this black hole already of 40-50 million pounds a year that they've got to make up so they can spend big still, or at least spend at a fairly large level. I would also want it in writing. So I don't really care that Roman said, I didn't ask for the money back, because that doesn't stop the debt from maybe needing to be paid off in the future. One, Roman may never accept the money, but maybe it's illegal still for that debt just to be written off. Maybe there is a precedent somewhere in law that says, actually, you have to pay it back. I would just want to know as a Chelsea fan how that's going to be done and what that would do to us financially. I wouldn't worry too much about the mechanism and understanding the financial element, but more bottom line, is the club paying this back? Because if you suddenly get lumbered with an actual debt of that amount of money, even interest-only payments are going to be 50-60 million pound a year. Even with the best loan rates out there, like a fraction over base, which banks will do for you, it's still tens of millions a year in outgoings. And I'm not trying to be a party pooper for Chelsea fans. I'm just trying to be realistic. I want to hear from the Times now what they've got to say about this. But what I will say is this: the Times are not a newspaper that are renowned for making up sort of the Sun newspaper head like clickbait titles for clicks. They're the fucking Times. Do you know what I mean? Like they had to have been given. I don't think their legal team would have signed off on this news article without some shred of evidence or a high profile like source that's giving us this information. So I would say this: that it looks like it's going through as a deal. I think Chelsea need this because I think the focus has been elsewhere. But for me, just as a football fan, there's still a number of unanswered questions, and they're going to say the right things in the media. There's no way the PR is going to be bad enough where Chelsea fans are scared of the new. They are. You guys are all going to be buzzing. But for me,
sorry, let me ask you this, Terry.
Proof's in the pud.
Terry, like, do you just in your point of view, just putting yourself in Abramovich's shoes, do you truly believe that he would be happy to write off that 1.6 billion?
No.
Like, what's your
not in my humble opinion? No. I think for me, if Roman, you got to think. Look, if he hadn't been sanctioned but decided to sell the club, he'd be walking away with. If he'd have got the money through the sale of the club, then I think he might have written off the loan or just like offset it. But the fact that he bought how much did he buy the club for? It wasn't a lot of money, was it? Because you were in debt.
Yeah, from Ken Bates. Yeah,
but how much did you buy it for? Do anyone remember?
£1? Who knows?
It could have been like I think it was like a small transaction. Yeah. That club, like the valuation of that club is gargantuan. If the loan was paid back and he was given the full sale price, you're talking nearly £6 billion. As Richard Roman is, and I said this the other day, with
18 million.
It went for £18 million. He's walking away from profits from that of multiple billions. Now, a lot of he's never been in it for the money. And maybe he hasn't, but there's a lot of money to walk away from. And if he is willing to give it all to Chelsea and let them keep it, then no problems. That's why the debt thing being written off could still work, because the idea is, well, you pay the debt back, but then the money's instantly given back to the Chelsea Foundation. Then you pay your loan. That's why there might be the legalities in it will be more around how does that fit with tax? How does that work? Like borrowing a loan to pay yourself back a debt where the money comes back to you. So maybe they can write these things off. My point is I've read these reports, but it's so vague. I, as a Chelsea fan, because of what my club has done with debt and how it's hampered Man United, I would just want it in clear writing, signed off, delivered by the club. This is what will happen. Don't worry. That's all I'm saying. Like, for me, if you just sort of half accept it, they're saying it will get written off, and then you put it to the back of your mind, you don't want in 3 years' time suddenly this big debt against your club, because that will be very, very damaging for me. But overall, look, I think it's going to be a good move for Chelsea. It's good, but it will be different. The one thing I agree with Agal on, it's going to be very, very different in the future of Chelsea now.
I feel like my point is being misconstrued. All I'm saying is there's going to be a period where there's going to be adjustment with new ownership, and things are going to be changing to a level where you will not be operating the same way you've been operating. And with that, I really do believe it's going to affect the way you guys have success on the pitch. I don't think it's going to be culminating the same way of running your business where you can just solve your problems as quick, and you're going to have to find other solutions, such as using the academy, finding other ways to bolster the squad. And with outgoing players already like Rudiger and Christensen, you already have to replace those players. It's not just like coming in and getting a fully ready squad to compete.
But Egal, no, which is true. But again, Abramovich has been amazing, but he's not been perfect. And Chelsea fans have said, like, the only criticism people have had of Abramovich is he was too trigger happy in how he sacked managers. Many people would say if Sarri was given a bit much more time, he would have built a psychology and an aesthetic. Like, look at how long Fergie was at United. Look at Wenger as well. These guys instilled a mentality into the club. So when a new guy comes in, you now, from the top to the bottom, from the academy, there's a footballing philosophy that you have. So the plus now is, okay, Tuchel, we support you. So Tuchel will now have 3, 4, 5 years now build a process to now have a philosophy. So eventually when Klopp and Pep leaves, Chelsea now in a better position, because Tuchel has had 3, 4, 5 years, which he would never have under Abramovich, to actually build a team that has a cohesive footballing vision. So,
yeah, I hear you on that. Viewers, I'd like your take. Ola here says, I think both reports are correct. Roman hasn't asked for the debt to be paid back to him, but hence why the statement is true, and obviously the paper statement that the debt may have to be repaid back. And yeah, sometimes these things get misconstrued, no doubt. Certainly read the other things I was reading the other day. It was very much placed in the way of Romans asking for it back. We haven't been successful in the Premier League for the last 4 years. Our recruitment has been horrible under Roman in the last 4 years. Bowley's people who worked with Edwards is what Adrian says there. And why this talk of City not having a striker? Is Jesus a
defender?
A defender. Sorry, there we go. That makes sense now. Pep always doing the tactical genius move, playing him on the wings. Till Dexter's lab, that Liverpool losing both. You do like Dexter from Dexter's
Yeah,
you do.
Great cartoon, by the way.
Sorry, lots of players are leaving, and most of your Liverpool and most of your liver and Pogba's are going to be levers. Sorry, I think you mean, and Pogba's are going to be free agents, with a lot of players leaving free for spaces, is what Sasko says. And look who's talking when they've only. Sorry, look who's talking when they've always only saying how they need a Champions League to attract players to a club that's always been in the Champions League, is what Sheriff G is saying to us there. So thank you all very much for those super chats. And it's been a good chat, people. I've enjoyed today's show. It's very nice to do one where there isn't a single subject matter about Manchester United. It's beautiful for me. I love it. I love it. But there's literally nothing to talk about with us right now because nothing's going on. Patty, Cole, Igal, have hope, Louis, a pleasure as always. Our viewers, thank you. Please hit the like button before you leave. It's very important to us that you do that. To all the super chatters, thank you. To all my members, you are brilliant. To all the viewers, you are the lifeblood of the Football Terrace. Thank you all very, very much indeed. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again.